Hi, and welcome to episode 15 of The Well. Can't believe we're at episode 15.
Okay. I'm Cat,
Oh, we
stuffy
got a
nose
low
cat.
energy cat, stuffy nose, low energy cat.
It's allergies. It's like a present every day. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, yeah.
Or a
And
box of chocolates.
all right, Forrest. Thanks, Jenna. So this topic that we're going to talk about today, I'm already getting high blood pressure. My anxiety is already starting to spike because we're going to be talking about kind of travel. Now,
Mhm.
this is something Kat and I have quite a bit of experience with, being road warriors in our
Yes.
past lives. And we thought we'd share some interesting stories, especially we just came back from Podfest 2026, which was in Orlando.
Yes.
So the travel quirks are fresh in my mind, and as I'm sure
Mhm.
they're fresh in Catherine's mind as well. So we
Absolutely.
thought we would chat about it. I have as anyone that knows me and has been on my Facebook for 10 years, got to experience the lovely ins and outs of my travel nightmares. So people would actually say that if I'm traveling, they will not. That's literally my influence of how bad
You're
travel
welcome.
has been for me. So, but I thought let's just do a quick, what am I trying to say here? How did you enjoy Podfest? We'll start there and then we'll get into the travel. I know it's a quick pivot, but I thought we would just kind of give a brief overview of our experience at Podfest 2026, which we were
No, that
invited
sounds
to
good.
by Buzzsprout. Shout out to Buzzsprout. We do use their platform. No, we're not sponsored, but if you want to sponsor us, hey, more than happy to take the sponsorship.
Mhm. Yes. Well, okay, so the surprisingly, the travel on the plane was not too bad. Usually when you go to the airport, there's delays or there's a lot of people. So I have to say that the flight there and back wasn't too bad. But I will say, and I'm sure a lot of people have experienced this, that there always seems to be a problem person on your flight. You think you can get away, like you get to the gate and you're looking at everybody that's going to board the plane. At least I look, and I'm like, and this is probably terrible, but I've gotten to a point, a certain age where I'm like, you look at someone and you think, are they going to be a problem on the plane? And sometimes, well, for the most part, I feel like I'm pretty correct. I had a guy one time, and I know I'm kind of not relating it to the Podfest travel, but I had this guy one time, a kid, and he was very ill, and he was, like, hawking up a lung, literally coughing his head off, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, he's gonna end up sitting right next to me." Not wearing a mask. Fortunately, he put a mask on. I think his parents made him put a mask on. It was a teenager. You're about to say something?
Yeah. What does this have to do with Podfest? Just
I'm
curious.
getting there, I'm getting there.
My
I'm
goodness.
I'm
Speed it
setting
up.
up the scenario. So, sometimes you can look at people or, like, someone with a baby, and I hate to say that because I've had 2 kids but I know what it's like is, "Oh, no, is my child gonna scream the entire time on the plane?" And you always end up sitting next to them. So, we get on the plane, I didn't see any of that. There was no evidence of problem people or, loud people. So we get on the plane and sure enough, we sit down and we get all situated. Do you want to take over the story, dear?
No, I wanna talk about Podfest. I don't wanna talk about the travel yet.
Oh, okay. Well, you
I
talk
just
about
wanted to do
Podfest. It was great.
I feel like okay, back to your story. Never mind. We'll do that for a future episode.
Okay. So we sit down and there's this loudness coming from behind us. I have my noise canceling headphones on, which really didn't cancel any noise behind me. So there are these 2 guys sitting behind us. And, when people usually sit down, they're kind of, hyped up. They talk to each other, their neighbor, and then it usually settles down, but it didn't. And it's a 3.5-hour flight, I think, to Orlando
It's like
with the
3
time
hours.
change.
Yeah,
And
like
well,
3
it's
and a half.
longer because you have to sit and wait for the gate and all that. And so this guy is just and his voice is so loud, and he's on the phone talking about big deals that he's doing, and, I mean, he's literally shouting it. So I'm like, "Okay, well, maybe he'll quiet down after he talks to his neighbor." No, he then enlists the flight attendant, so they're chatting behind us, and this is all within the 3-hour period. and he won't stop talking. It's, like, abrasive. Am I wrong?
No, and I got to learn about the $850,000 that he just Ferrari that he just ordered with all this custom carbon fiber and like 30 I got the full breakdown of every custom option on this guy's Ferrari. I mean, the not only the volume that both of them were speaking at, it was what they were talking about. I was just like, gosh, wow, unbelievable. It was unbelievable to think that that was even true. I mean, just the amount of money that this guy was talking about he was spending was just
But
nuts.
that's
It
not
was
really
just
the
nuts.
issue. The
No,
money in the car is
no.
not the issue. The
But
issue
the point is
he
it was
was
so loud. It was so loud, I could hear every single detail of
yes.
what he was talking about, and I had noise canceling headphones on as well.
Yeah, and I think the point is, I don't know if this has happened to people, but, you go somewhere in public and someone is on their phone, and they are incredibly loud. Like, they do not care who hears them, they're talking business or they're whatever. I mean, there's literally no self-awareness, that, "Hey, you know what? Someone might wanna take a nap. It's an early morning flight," or hey, someone doesn't want to hear someone talking for 3 hours. They do turn the lights off in the cabin for a reason, so it can be calm. But no, he did not care. There was he no thought whatsoever. Even when you give the little like turnaround and the look, to kind of sometimes that works, and when people turn around, they look, and it's kind of shaming to people. But no, there was no shame. So that was great, that was great
I
for
was
3.5
pretty
hours.
tempted to say something, not for them to stop talking, but just, like, turn the
The
volume
volume.
halfway down. I mean,
Yeah.
it was obnoxiously loud, so and I could see during takeoff, but when we were, kinda at a cruising altitude, I felt like it got louder.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
that self-awareness is the right word, and I feel so having traveled for, gosh, 10 plus years every week on a plane, you start to really learn about the ins and outs of travel. So, it's quite interesting to see people's travel habits, and I think I've
Mm.
seen just about everything, and loud talkers or the person that sits next to you, and now I'm polite, but sometimes I just wanna get on the plane, I don't wanna be bothered. Right? So
Or feel like you have to make conversation.
if you and I are not traveling together and I get a person sitting next to me that just wants to chat me up the entire time, it's tough. It's
Yeah.
real tough. Sometimes it's just best to put like porn on your iPad. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Like a deterrent, but even when you put your headphones in, they just keep talking. So
Oh,
sometimes it's good. And
have you ever noticed when you're so the people that have their iPads, that take their iPads on the plane, have you ever done this or noticed someone doing this where you'll put a movie on your iPad or someone else will, and people are always, like, watching your
yeah,
iPad with you? I think no, but people don't mean to, but it's, like, right there, and it's just so funny to me because I look around the plane, I'm, like, watching people, and I'm like, "Oh, look, that guy's watching that movie."
that doesn't bother me too much.
No, it doesn't bother me. I just think it's
What what
funny
I
talking about
what
habits.
I can't understand, and I can't wait for the comments on this, but why people will watch their phone or their iPad without headphones on the plane. Like, for all of
Yeah,
us
that's
to
another
listen,
one.
I just don't understand that. Like, are we in your living room? Are we all, sharing the same screen? I just don't understand why people. I could see if you forgot your headphones, but
They do have them.
travel tip, you can always ask the flight attendant, they usually will give them
Yeah.
to you for free. So, it's just a weird thing to me. The other weird thing and people that take their shoes off on the plane, I'll never
Oh,
understand that.
yeah. Gosh.
Like, I don't get it. I saw one guy so here, real quick story about
No, go
shoes off
ahead.
on the plane. So, I forgot where I was going, could have been anywhere in the country, but I was seated on the aisle, and the guy across from me in this aisle seat he took his shoes off and started clipping his toenails.
Did he really? Okay,
Clipping
that
his
is,
toenail.
ooh,
That's
whole
a
next
level of
level.
comfort that I don't like, you're not in your bathroom, you're in a public area in a tight quarters, and someone's gotta clean that shit up. Like, nobody wants to clean up your toenail clippings, and why on the plane?
Uh,
What? what
Yeah.
possesses you to all and I thought you couldn't take clippers, like, anyway, I
Wow.
just that freaked me out, and I've seen that more than once, like, this wasn't a one-time thing, so
Yeah, I
I'd
believe
love
it.
to know what compels every time I talk to people that take their shoes off, because 'cause I'm very curious, they're like, "I just like to be comfortable," but
Right.
some people are in bare feet, like, that's just if you ever watch a crew clean a plane, yo, they don't do much, so it's really
Ugh.
nasty to think to put your feet on the carpet.
This is why I don't like having my bags like, this is why I don't put my luggage bags on my bed, because if I'm not cleaning my luggage ba like, literally put my book bag under the seat on flights, just like everybody, and I'm so disgusted by, like, what is on that carpet that I will not I'm super careful about where I put my bags. I just think it's really nasty, and probably I'm a little OCD about cleanliness, but, I
A
mean, come
little?
on, think about it. I mean, it's nasty. I see people, like, laying on the carpet of the terminals,
And
and you know how often they clean those never, okay? People spill food, there's, like, bodily fluids. I mean, it's disgusting. You know, like, we were in the terminal and I get people have to eat on the go, right? I get it. In the terminal, you're eating. There was this teenage boy. He had a salad, and he's like spilling the salad all over the carpet. Like no self awareness. He's just like talking to his friends, eating a salad. I'm just so grossed out because ranch does not get better with age. You know, so
no,
it's
no, it sure doesn't, and neither did that
yeah.
oily mac and cheese that just kinda got
Oh, that
smeared
poor
all over the
kid.
carpet too.
Yeah, it was like a
So,
group of these teen guys, and he literally spilled that entire thing of mac and cheese all over himself and the floor,
everywhere,
and picked it right back
everywhere.
up and ate it,
Yeah,
and I
just
was
ate
just
it, it
like,
was like, 5-second
you
rule.
know
It's
yeah.
still good,
So,
but yeah, that's
there's that funny I can't Adam Rose, I think it is, he does all those funny memes about different he'll, like it's him looking at things, different clips, and he's just, like, shaking his head. And it cracks me up. He does one on travel, and you think that's like, you think it's a joke, but it is not. Like, literally, these things are real video clips, and he's
yeah.
pulled them, and it's not AI. So it's funny because it's so true.
So,
Yeah.
question for you, what's
Okay.
been your most nightmarish plane experience, like travel on the plane or funniest?
Okay. So and I said this to you the other day, actually, when we were traveling to Florida. I was like, considering looking at like Dallas, Fort Worth and how many people travel per day, how many flights there are out each day, you would think you would hear more horrendous things happening. So I want to say I am very grateful for everybody who makes travel like safe. But, as long as you get there in one piece, that's all I really care about. But you see some funny stuff and some weird crap. I mean, I think one time there was a lady who was literally having a fit, and I always feel like it's first class. I know that's terrible,
Mhm.
but so this lady she got really drunk. She was having a fit, and security had to come and get her, and we're all like, geez, woman, like, we want to just get off this plane and you're affecting everybody on this plane, right? And then, there I think the food thing is food and noise. I don't know why that affects me so much, but like someone that brings on the plane, I try to be super courteous when I travel. I try, so I'm not gonna bring a big stinky meal on a plane where it's enclosed and I'll probably get comments from people about this, but I find that so incredibly rude, like bringing this big stinky thing of food on board. There's no air flow,
Mhm.
so I've got to sit there and smell your beans.
Oh
Or
my.
like or like your smelly salad, and I get people are hungry, but could you just pick something that doesn't smell up the entire cabin? Because it never fails. People spill that stuff. Someone's always spilling something and then it stays there for the entire flight. So, yeah, and then not that I feel like I'm talking about pet peeves of travel, but I
We are.
guess that's pretty much it, it's and it always bothers me when someone is struggling, we've talked about this, putting their luggage up in the overhead bin and no one, not even the flight attendant, bothers to assist. But we
Yeah.
have also said sometimes, like, you helped someone recently, that lady pull her thing off the belt, her big luggage bag off the belt because it was huge and she was so tiny. But sometimes you feel like you shouldn't even touch people's stuff or, like, offer to help because people are gonna turn around and be like, "Don't touch my
Yeah.
stuff, I'm offended," you know? But I also said too, "Well, how many times does that happen?" You're like, "Never," and I'm like, "That's like a fear we have in our heads anymore, that we try that it's
Yeah.
like being helpful is offensive or being courteous is offensive now."
Yeah.
What
So
about
you
you?
bring, you know me, I got tons, but
I know you do.
I'll share a few that have stuck in my brain. But so, little bit of a backstory. Since I traveled so much, I had good perks, right? So I
For
was
work.
correct for work. So I had tons of status. So I would be bumped to first class quite often. That's not some weird flex. So when you
Business
were
travel,
talking
you
about
always get points.
right, and business travelers, different breed. Not the friendliest. We're all focused on getting to where we gotta go, right? We're
Mhm.
working. It's always stressful because you're dependent upon the planes and getting there, especially when you're billing, right? So as a billable entity, your travel is billable for some clients, and especially if it takes you 10 hours to get to your destination, it's a pain in the ass. So, one particular flight, I forget if I was flying out or coming back home. It doesn't really matter. I think I was going to a client and I was in first class and there was a woman in the row in front of me towards the window and they kept serving her alcohol. When I say she kept
Ugh.
drinking, she drank a ton. And this was not a super long flight. So as they kept feeding her the booze, her level of intoxication escalated quite quickly. Now, slurring of the words then became like disorderly and then just lost control.
Belligerent.
So, as she's accosting the first class cabin and she's making her rounds, she's standing up, she's being loud. The flight attendants are asking her to now take a seat, buckle in, calm down. Well, she decided that that was the opportune time to projectile vomit all over
Oh
everyone in the first class cabin.
gosh.
So,
That
like,
would be
literally spraying everyone everywhere. And what was weird, and then she had to be restrained because she would not calm down. They had to restrain her. So after she vomited, they restrained her, and then she finally passed out. And I think there was like 30 minutes left on the
gosh.
flight. And we're all
What a nightmare.
just in a bad shape, right? Like I got chunks on me. I'm just like, gosh,
Huh?
I'm supposed
Oh,
to
it's
be
so
at the
gross.
client, right? Now I'm gonna have to figure out how to
Smell
get
like
into my
throw up.
hotel and change. Oh, it was awful. Well, they let her off the plane. What I was thinking was like, this woman's not safe to be operating a vehicle, to be walking. I mean, she was so high. She must have been on medication because the level of
Oh,
intoxication
yeah,
she
maybe.
was unbelievable. So that was a fun one. Another interesting one, and I felt really bad was, I love animals, and someone brought their service dog on, and I was flying back from Arizona to Philly. It's a fairly long flight. It was a German Shepherd, and I was not in the first class cabin. I was back in coach, and this dog was up in first class with the owner, and dog got sick and
Mm.
crapped all over the plane. And when I
Oh.
tell you the
Ugh.
smell was
Yeah,
enough to
I
make
can
everyone on the
imagine.
plane sick, we had to do an emergency landing. That's how bad it was. Literally, I
So
felt so bad for the dog and I felt really bad for the owner, but man,
yeah.
that was rough. And I have so many more stories, but I will say that, having had status with one particular airline, if you know the big hub out of DFW, you'll know who I'm referring to. I'm pretty sure I was on the naughty list for this company because every week I would keep a spreadsheet of how many delays, cancellations, impacts,
You
issues that
did.
I
It was
experienced.
impressive.
And this is back when Twitter was Twitter and not X. I would tweet to this particular airline my experience with them. So they didn't care for that. But I have to say, like, as a customer and as someone that worked for a company that spent hundreds of millions of dollars on travel because there was over 500,000 consultants in the field, it's insane to me that they do not listen to any feedback at all.
Yeah.
So, and I've been
That's too
polite,
big.
I've been rude, I've been nice, I've been not nice, but literally the planes, they're filthy, they're not clean. The flight out there, my seat was broken to and from the flight. The Wi-Fi was down the entire flight.
Oh, yeah, that's true, it
So
was.
all these quirks, I know it's not the end of the world, but the fact that, yeah, I think Delta now offers free Wi-Fi. The fact that other airlines don't is ridiculous to me. Like, really? They want to charge
Yeah,
you
I
$50 a
agree.
month?
Well,
I mean, come on.
that really goes into paying for quality. It's really amazing to me how much, and I know that we're kind of diving into the money aspect, but the amount of money that you pay, like recently they bumped up the cost if you want to ride first class or even what's the second level? It's like
Now, so
priority or choice or something.
So, for example, American Airlines, their tiered ticketing now, you could do the bare bones ticket, but it's almost like flying Frontier where everything else is a la carte. So
Yeah,
you have to pay for a bag, you have to do this. And I'm like, man,
you have to
they've
pay for
made,
everything.
yeah, they've made travel so complicated. And the next tier up, like whatever it is, it's a significant bump in price, but you're going to end up paying that anyway with the lower fare ticket. And that's how they get you.
Right.
Oh, wow, this is only a
They get it either
$300
way.
flight. So it's really frustrating now, and I don't know how it is with some of it. I usually fly exclusively with the airline I have status with, just because I can use my points for upgrades and whatnot. So, but I'm
Well,
finding it very, very difficult to be loyal to any of them because of, and we can get into this about the hotels. Now,
oh gosh, yeah.
I've been diamond with Hilton for a long time, and I've been whatever platinum with Marriott,
And for the
and
record, I've never really had status for anything. So he's the one with the status, not me.
that's just because I traveled as much as I did. So
You
it's
did, you
one of the
did. You
few
traveled a
perks
lot.
about traveling. But for example, we stayed at a property in Orlando. It was not cheap. It was almost $300 a night for just a basic hotel room. So we get there and the staff couldn't have been more miserable, right? And I'm not talking, we weren't there at like 3 in the morning. This was what,
No.
like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the
Like,
afternoon.
here's your key.
Yeah,
The
didn't even
elevator's
barely
down
made eye
here.
contact. So, which whatever, everyone has a bad day, but to me, if you're in customer service and especially hospitality, you should be hospitable.
Right.
Like, it's
Should
kinda
be.
your first point of contact when you check in shouldn't be a miserable experience.
And
So,
for the record, also, like, I don't think we're asking for a lot. It's like, you smile, "Hey, thanks for being a customer. Okay, here's your key, and, let us know if you need anything." I mean, it really doesn't take a lot, but apparently it does.
I would have just been fine like, "Hey, how you doing? How was your flight?" Or, "Where are you coming in from?" Like, stuff
Right.
like as they're typing away on whatever they're doing. So, we get to the hotel, we check in, and then they wanna hit you with a $200 incidental fee. So, they
Yeah.
literally, and I'm like, "Incidentals for what? There's no
I haven't done
charges in the
anything.
room." Right? Like, there's nothing in the room that I could buy, so I don't know
No,
what
it's empty.
incidentals you're talking about. So, I guess it was for that little crappy area downstairs that you could get, like, snacks and stuff, that those would be considered incidentals, and then so anyway, we get in the room, and the AC control panel is ripped off the wall, not working. I'm like, and I need AC in a hotel. I freeze Catherine out.
Yes.
It's terrible, but, she puts up with me, but I put it on the lowest. You could literally freeze meat in the room, it's like a meat locker, so I can't be warm in the hotel, so I go over, I turn the AC down, and the room just is not great. It's old, it feels old, it smells like mold, it's got a
Oh,
very
yeah,
strong
that was
odor.
pretty bad. We couldn't tell where it was
So,
coming from.
and I have a
Everywhere.
very, I know. And this is a lot of hotels, not just the one we stayed in.
Yeah, yeah.
What's with the pillows? They're like tissues. They are so thin,
That
and
was
as
so
soon as you
funny.
put your head on it, they deflate to nothing. I'm like, "This
Uh-huh.
isn't a why is it so difficult to get a pillow that actually supports your
Has a
head?
form.
You
Uh-huh.
might as well not have anything on the bed considering what these pillows are. I never will understand why hotels provide these awful pillows. And I've stayed in
And
very
multiples.
expensive hotels and not so expensive hotels, and, even at the Four Seasons, I've had, like, miserable experiences, but it is better, though, but not for the money you pay. But I just will never understand the pillow situation in a hotel. It's terrible. Is it just me, or am I exaggerating? Those pillows were god awful.
I have to say, I don't pay much attention to stuff, but those are pretty bad. And they have 2 pillows per each side. So you can imagine if they were already flat, like there was no height
Yeah, but it
benefit
was
to
it was
having
a
2 of them.
yeah, it was a regular size pillow, and then it was like a throw pillow, like this
Yeah.
little square pillow. I'm like,
It was
there's
it
not
was
even
pretty
2 foot. It
bad.
was weird. So
Yeah.
that was annoying, and then there were stains on the towels, which is gross, right? Throw
Yeah.
it away. Why are you
Mascara
putting
stains.
and then the bottles, and I never use you do, but I never use the
But
hotel shampoo or any stuff like that. I never use
I
what's in the
do. I mean,
bottle.
sometimes it's good.
It wasn't full. Like,
Yeah, no,
the
they don't fill
lotion
them
was
up.
completely empty. I'm like, "What the heck?" So, that's annoying. It's just it doesn't live up to basic expectations of, "We're paying a lot of money for a service, and we're not get." But why are we always apprehensive to complain, right? As opposed we shoulda went down that day and said, "Hey, this room just isn't up to snuff," but I
But
know they were
honestly,
sold
I don't
out.
think there was any other room that would have
Yeah.
been better.
So,
Wait,
then it go ahead.
were you gonna talk about the oh, you're probably
Yes.
getting to it. Okay.
So
The crème de la
so
crème,
at night,
the cherry
we're
on top.
we're closing the shade. It
No, it was
wasn't
in
a
the
curtain.
morning when we woke
Yeah,
up,
I know,
when I
but at
woke up.
night, we
Okay.
closed the shade,
Yeah.
so
It's a
you
roll down
couldn't
shade.
yeah, you couldn't tell much. It was this, like, old blue, freaking weird, old school shade.
Matches the curtains.
Yeah, awful.
They
So
weren't bad. It
they
just
were
was
awful.
really
It's
old.
old. It's just very old.
Yeah.
So in the morning, it literally as the sun starts to peek through, I'm like, "What is that?" It literally looked like a buckshot from a shotgun.
And I'm on the side where I'm, like, facing when I'm asleep, I'm facing the window, and when I wake up, I'm like, "What?" My eyes are kinda blurry, and I'm like, "What is that? What is happening with the window?"
So literally, it was so old that it had worn through the dye of the fabric, and it
The
was clear.
material.
It wasn't a hole, it was just rubbed through. They weren't
Okay.
holes.
I thought
The
it was, like,
literally, the material
eaten,
was rubbed
moth-eaten.
through. No, it may have been, but I don't it literally looked like
I didn't go
bleach stains,
close.
but it was rubbed it was gone up and down so many times, it had lost it become translucent. It's almost like when you wear a T-shirt too long, like, that guy at the gym that always wears that white T-shirt that he's been wearing for, like, 10 years, and it's so
Yes, yeah,
sweat riddled that it's eaten through the material and it's become
yeah.
see-through. That was that shade. So,
Oh,
it was
stop,
just
stop. Anybody
collaborate and
says
listen.
before anybody says, "Well, why didn't you tell?" Don't wanna get a comment that says, "Well, why didn't you just tell the" we definitely have we're leaving a review. So,
Well,
just letting you
so
know, we are going to inform them.
I did text they always text you, and I did
Yeah,
text
that's
that the
true,
room wasn't
survey.
up to and all they said was sorry, right? So they said, "Hey, we hope to be able to do better next time," right? Those automated responses are such garbage. They
Yeah,
don't care. They don't care. And there was 2 towels. Now I know this whole eco movement, and which is fine. I never let them clean my room when I'm there, which is fine by
yeah,
me, but
right.
2 towels, that's it. That's all you got was 2.
For the as
And
long as we were staying.
yeah, and the shower just constantly leaked, like,
Oh, yeah,
constantly,
you
couldn't
couldn't
turn it
get it
off.
to turn
And yo,
off.
so that's a good question. Why I think this is every hotel chain to piss their customer it's kinda like payback. You can never figure out the shower. It
Oh,
is the
yeah,
most
that's true.
complicated
That's very
thing
true.
to figure out where the hot water is, and then to figure out how to turn the shower head on, and then how to figure out how to turn it off. You're either
Uh-huh.
scolding yourself in burning hot water or freezing cold. You can
We're
never get it
spraying
right.
water everywhere.
Everywhere. I was just like, "Man, every single hotel, it's a different experience, and it's always difficult to figure out."
And it
So
cracks me up because everybody is always into this, like, modern look, like, minimalist look, and even at the airports, and so you're literally standing there trying to, like, figure out how to wash your hands in the airport or figure out how to turn the water on or off, and I'm like, just need something simple. Hot, cold, here's how you turn it on, you know? Stop with the fancy stuff. You can't figure it out. It's like a learning curve.
Okay. All right. So back to the hotel. I heard your little Jeopardy song. Thank you for playing us out.
You're
Um,
welcome.
so hotels are just the other thing that really irked me about where we stayed. Now I get it. It's a resort area. This was for Podfest. It was right by SeaWorld. So I get it. There's all the theme parks. But as soon as I walked downstairs, they're like, hey, and they knew my name. So they were standing at a podium by the front desk. Like, hey,
And you
would you like
can't
some
bypass it.
right. Would you like some free we'd like to offer you some free points because we had an outage this morning. And I was like, "Okay, free points? Sure, let's do
Which
it."
sounds weird to me. I mean,
Yeah,
okay, so you
I
had an
took the bait.
outage?
I
It
was
was morning,
tired.
it was early.
Yeah, hadn't had coffee. I was going downstairs to get coffee, which is another irk because literally now it was like $18 for some shitty breakfast. So, which is ridiculous
Oh, yeah,
for
they
like
charge for breakfast now. It's
not
crazy, and
this
it's, like,
yeah,
not good breakfast, like,
I
you
mean, this
wonder where
wasn't
it came
breakfast.
from.
Oh, um they're like, "Oh, we're gonna offer you some free points for the outage," and then what did they say? They go, "I see you're a blah, blah honors member." I was like, "Yes," and then they go, "Thank you for being blah, blah, blah. You're welcome," and they said, "Hey, by the way, we're offering a trip to any of these places, and if you pay today, you'll get an additional 15,000 points." I'm like, "No, I'm not interested." I no, I don't wanna be it's kinda like on the plane when they try and make you get the credit card and they blast you can't hear shit
That
on the
drives me
plane,
nuts.
but literally, as soon as they offer the credit card and they walk around with the who fills out a paper application for a credit card
I've
anymore?
seen
"Hey,
people do it.
let me give you all my personal information, hand it to a complete stranger that it now has all my personal information for some crappy credit card." So, I don't like to be solicited while I'm trapped in a hotel or on a plane. So,
Oh, yeah, that's a good
no
way to
one
put
likes
it.
it. No one likes it.
I don't know, some people might.
It's well, that
Some
trip
people might
sounded
live for
awful.
those things.
It's such a scam. Like, no thanks. It's like it's when you have to go what is it? Like those conventions where they'll give you a free trip if you listen to their sales pitch. That's
Yeah.
intentional. At least I know what I'm going for, but this?
I
Yes,
gotta
dear.
I gotta tell my little bathroom story. So in the airport, we were getting ready to get on the plane, and the bathroom is really close by. So obviously, there are gonna be a lot of people lined up. So I go to the ladies' room, and there's a line, and I'm like, "There's so many stalls." I was like, "Gosh, everybody must have to pee at the same time." So I'm standing there, and I'm just kind of laughing with the other women in the line about the line, and we're standing there for a few minutes, and then we hear someone say, "Oh, none of the stalls are being used." And we're like, "What?" And they're like, "Well, you can't really see because they're floor to ceiling doors if anybody's in them, and they don't have one of those indicator lights or signs on the door of when it's occupied. So all these stalls have been sitting open while we're standing there in line." And I was like, what a and I'm in user experience, it's my background. So I'm like, what a terrible experience, like you you can't tell if you need to go to the bathroom, and some people have to go really bad. It just was mind-boggling to me.
Yes, that's another interesting thing, the bathroom. Why is it that they make the entryway
Oh,
so narrow to get into the bathroom? Like, literally, it's a traffic jam nonstop. So,
that is
that's always
odd. It's always tight, bottleneck. There's,
yeah,
like, no
yeah,
space, and they try to make it curved, and so every time you go into the funnel, you always end up running into someone, and you're like, "Oh,
yeah.
sorry," and they're like, "Oh, sorry," you know?
And you're dragging a bag. So, it's not just
Yes.
like your bot so you're dragging a bag through there and you're trying to squeeze through where they got their bag, you got your bag, and it's always like bumper cars. It's
Oh,
super
stalls in
irritating.
the airport, in different airports, stalls that are so small, and I'm like, "Hello, you're traveling, you've got your suitcase, you don't wanna leave your suitcase out, right, when you're in the stall for security reasons, so you're trying to, like, get maybe other people do, I don't know, sometimes I do. You're trying to get your luggage into the bathroom stall, and you can't
Yeah,
because there's literally no space in there, and I always
that's
appreciate but on the flip side, I do appreciate when they have, like, hooks so you can hang your
Yes.
backpack or your bag or whatever. But yeah, it's weird because you would think, okay, we know the purpose of this building is an airport. Why would you not build it in such a way to have like a really good experience? Even though they've been built a long time ago, a lot of them are they're really old. It's like, why would you not think about like a hook or I don't know.
Well,
Anyway, I wonder
this
lots of things about people.
yes, and you see a lot of interesting things in airports and on the plane, and
Ooh, no, go
go ahead.
ahead. I got one.
No, no,
When
go ahead.
people Okay, be aware when you're walking in the airport. It drives me nuts when people stand in the middle of the walkway with their back and they're like talking to their group or their people, and people are like trying to get around them and they're just standing there, no self-awareness of no spatial awareness. Let me put it like that. I don't understand that. I really don't.
Well, it's kinda like no one follows directions. So, for example, American Airlines, you board by group number. So,
Oh,
as soon as
yeah.
they're like, "Hey, we're gonna start the
Gosh.
boarding process shortly," everyone crowds by the lines, and it's like, okay, you have just everyone regardless of group number. I don't know why they're like, "Hey, keep the boarding lanes clear until your group is called," but they never
Right.
enforce it. It's just a
They
suggestion,
don't. I don't even
and
know
it
why they have those there. They don't
exactly.
use them.
Exactly. So it is super annoying because everyone jams in there, and it's really tough, especially for the people that need to pre-board, that need extra time to
Right.
have to like force their way
Maneuver.
through a crowd, whether they're in a wheelchair or, impaired in some way. And it's really difficult for them to get on the plane. They don't say anything. They're not like, hey, everyone move out of the way. Right.
Uh,
If it,
yeah.
no one stand up until your group is called. It's kind of like to me, and I know this will probably piss some people off, they literally should board from the back of the plane forward because that makes more sense as opposed
Logically,
to
yes.
everyone stuffing in and waiting to get to they board the back of the plane last. So, same with getting off the plane. Well, actually getting off the plane, you would get up like
First,
the
yeah,
opposite.
people in the
So,
front, yeah.
but everyone's in a race. It is
To get to the
so
same place to sit and wait. Like,
now
you get in and you have to wait 30 minutes at least for everybody to get on, get their stuff. You're just I mean, it's
but I get it
weird.
if you have carry-on, right? You want the overhead space. I get that. Trust me, I try and check a bag never because of the nightmare experiences I've had with checking a bag, but
But I feel like
if
that's not the main reason. It's like herd mentality. It's like,
yeah,
"Oh, wow, it's like competition. You're going first." I mean, it's very childish that and I've been guilty of it where I'm like, "Well, you're not gonna get in front of me, and I'm gonna get on first, and da 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 da," and I see you moving up. I saw you inch over. I mean, it really is quite insane that we behave like that because we're all in a group and we're all like, well, we should be like, you go first, or I mean,
there's no
no, go
polite.
ahead, take some
There's
time,
absolutely no
patience.
polite.
Because, I mean, logically, what is the freaking rush? They have to wait for everybody to get on the plane. So, it doesn't matter how fast you get in your seat, you're still going to have to wait. So it's funny to me.
It doesn't make sense, but
No, it
I
doesn't.
fall victim of it too.
I
I
know,
get
I do
all
too.
tense and I wanna get on the
I'm like
plane sooner
stressed.
than
I'm like,
later.
ah.
So, it's annoying. It's annoying, and they never follow the boarding process kind of the way that it's discussed. So,
So, speaking of process, what about the priority tickets for luggage? What is that about?
I think it's just a way to put something on your luggage. I don't know, every time so if you have status, even if you have, like, let's just say gold status or whatever it is, they put a priority tag on your luggage and you're supposed to
Why?
get it sooner. You're supposed to get it sooner.
So it's like loaded on the belt first when you
And
pick
I
up, or
that's the
what does it
theory.
actually mean?
You're supposed to get your bag before non-priority tagged bags.
So does that
They're supposed
happen,
to
or do these people just throw it on the belt and they don't care what order
I
it's
don't
in?
I don't think it happens. So yes, I feel like they just throw it on them. I've had my bag lost so many times, broken, cracked. It's just the whole baggage claim thing is a wild ride, no matter what. It is always a wild ride. And I'm always amazed. And I've spent a lot of money on luggage, like a lot. And we were talking about this.
Yeah.
So I have a particular brand I like. it lasts, but I'm like, "Why am I spending, like, money on luggage that is getting destroyed?" My luggage
Yeah.
is not that old. It looks like it has been through a
Run
cheese
over.
grater. It is scratched, destroyed, marked up, and they just toss it around, so I'm like, "Why am I spending all this money on luggage?"
I don't
It
know.
doesn't make any sense.
I don't
So,
I care less what my luggage looks like as long as I can find it.
yeah, and that's the other thing is, when someone picks up your bag or so anyway, the baggage claim is always like, just watch them toss the bags on the belt. That's all you need to know. There's no care, there's really and the way that they're tossed in the plane, so it's kinda
Do you
silly,
eat
but
on the
man,
plane, the meals that they provide?
I don't. I don't, no.
Okay.
If you're flying business or first class, I avoid the food. I just don't trust it.
Especially on your stomach. I did eat one meal on the way there, but it was just chicken, so I just ate the chicken, I didn't eat all the sides, but
Yeah.
it's
Nope.
always funny, it has a smell when they prepare it. It smells like a Stouffer's pizza.
Yeah, because they put it in whatever that warming oven or microwave, and
Yeah,
it's all
yeah.
cooked at once, and I'm just like, "Yeah,
Uh-huh.
no, I can." There's
If
nothing
I
worse than being sick on the plane. There's nothing
No,
wor
you're
in
not
my opinion,
wrong.
it's like one of the worst experiences, so I have no desire to flirt with diarrhea
I do
or
like when they
vomiting.
offer the nuts and they heat them. I like when they heat them.
They
It's so
always heat
good.
them.
Yeah, I will say our flight attendant, the woman who was our flight attendant on the way back from our Orlando trip was the best flight attendant I've had in a long time.
She was
There
very
was
nice.
there were 2 ladies on board, and I wish that I had gotten their names because she really deserved, like, a gold star. I felt like I was at home and my mom was taking care of me. Like, she was, like, super attentive, super timely, brought me extra nuts because I don't like eating on the plane. She was like, "Oh," even before I finished, she's like, "Oh, you must like those. I'll bring you some extra," because I didn't get the meal that time. And she was just the nicest, sweetest lady. And I was like, gosh, I would pay to fly more if I had more like customer service like that. I'd pay for a lot of stuff if I had, in general, if I had great customer service like that, like someone that actually cares about what they're doing. So I do have to
Yeah,
give a shout out to her.
I feel like that's becoming less the norm.
It is, and you
Even
really recognize
hospitality
it
in that
though.
sense. Yeah, and
Yeah, which
so
is a
you really
shame.
appreciate it. You really especially if you're like, honestly, people that are spending money to upgrade or whatever,
Yeah.
whether it's 1,000, 2,000, $3,000, you expect a certain level of service. Actually, I
And it's
expect that level of service whether I'm spending that much or not. So,
it's just I feel like it's just the bare minimum of just being polite, you know? Like, why is that so like, I shouldn't have to pay more money for someone to be nice to me, you
yeah,
know?
and I get they jam pack these flights now as well as make them so close together as far as like the plane landed in 15 minutes ago, they deboard and then they got to quickly clean it up to get the next flight out. So there's not a lot of time to turn the plane over as far as get it ready for the next boarding. So I feel like that's part of the issue too. Half the time the crew is running from one flight to the next,
Yeah.
so, I'm not making excuses. I don't think I've had a lot of rude flight attendants that have been just
Yeah,
miserable,
same.
and I've had some good ones. So, it's a mixed bag, unfortunately, and it's a shame.
I would also say too that I know we're sitting here talking about, oh, they could be better, they could be better. But I also think too that the people flying or
Oh,
customers
yeah.
could be better.
Yeah.
Like, when was the last time you were like, "Hey, thank you so much for getting us to our destination safely?" No one says that, and even myself, I'm like, granted, it's their job, but, people like to be thanked. They like to be recognized for doing a good job. So
I
I could
always
put
thank
that back on us.
I know. I feel like we're always polite. We're always grateful and thankful, and I always
You
thank the
always
flight
leave
attendants after a flight.
One thing that I love about you when I first got to know you and first met you, started being together, I noticed that in hotels, you would always leave a tip for housekeeping, which I always thought was super nice that you would
Really?
always
I
do that. Yeah, I
thought
don't know
that's
people that do
standard
that.
practice. I
I just
That's
think it's a polite thing to do.
if they don't come in and clean the room every day, and I'm not super messy. It's not like I left the room a disaster. I would always tidy up, put the towels all in the bathroom, making sure that, it was clean. But yeah, I would
You
always
leave
leave a
it,
note.
yeah.
I would leave a note with a tip just saying you know, thank you for cleaning the room. So I don't know. I felt like I thought that was normal practice. Maybe it's not, but
I've never known anybody to do
I
that.
always like to take care of the people that take care of me, and especially when you're on the road, it's so important that the service industry that's taking care of me that I am reciprocal, that I
Right.
show appreciation. So when you travel a lot, it was funny when I was traveling to Connecticut every week, I would start to leave my clothes there because I knew I was on a contract for like a year and they would dry clean them for me and then they would put them
Mhm.
in my room for me. So I didn't pay extra for that. That was just good service. The concierge was just I got to know them and they took very good care of me. So to me, it's like when you're away from home, that's your home away from home. It's nice to have somebody looking out for you or providing a level of service that is above and beyond what they have to.
Right.
I greatly appreciate and the little things. I feel like hotels don't do the little things anymore.
No,
So
everything's
before you
bare
would get a
minimum.
note, right? You would get a note, thank you for staying here, thank you for being a member,
Or the
or
Andes mints on the pillows. No one
oh,
does
they
that
don't do turn.
anymore.
There's no turn down service anymore.
It'd be kinda nice though. I mean,
Nicer hotels, you can get turn down service, or I forget what hotel did we stay? Was it Vegas? Did they do turn down service?
I don't remember. I feel like I haven't
Anyway,
had that in a long time.
yeah, but also so that brings up the question of I think we've changed the way we travel. I've moved away from hotels. I'd much prefer staying in a VRBO or an Airbnb
Airbnb,
for
same.
the same amount or less money to have
Right.
the level of comfort without the overhead of the hotel nonsense, right?
Yes.
That
Agree.
hotel we stayed in Orlando, and I sent them a very descript email about some of the challenges that we faced. I mean, the mold in there, Catherine and I could not breathe in the room. It was so bad. Every night we would have like literally breathing issues.
Yeah.
And I checked the air conditioner to see if the filters were clean, but there was something in that
It's
room that was
terrible.
just causing
Or
massive
maybe there
breathing
had
issues.
been pets in there, I don't know.
I'm not
Who
allergic to
knows?
animals, so I don't know. But I
Who
sent a
knows?
not a nasty email, but I sent them what I thought some of the challenges were, and they literally just said, "Thanks. We hope you come back." And I was like, "No." And I don't ever ask for anything for free. I wasn't expecting them to comp my trip or anything, but
Uh,
I expect more than "We hope you come back." Well, no, I could
yeah.
honestly tell you, I will never come back. I will never stay at your hotel, and I will never
Right.
recommend anyone stay there because
Ooh,
it just wasn't good.
there's no personal touch. So, I would say, not that this is a topic like we're on the AI topic, but when you start incorporating AI as your customer service to like respond to people, I don't appreciate that. It's not, I would much rather value, or I would value more someone who is reaching out personally and saying, "Hey, got your feedback," or at least to make you feel heard, whether they do something about it or not. I think people want to be heard. So you really do yourself a disservice if you're relying on AI to do your customer service for you. And I'm not saying they did, but any kind of automated messaging like that is an instant, like, big no-no to me when I'm traveling or doing anything in terms of like art.
So, worst hotel experience for you?
Mm. Uh,
Like, what was
you
some of
know,
the most challenging that you've experienced?
my experiences are always like I'm always, as you said, I don't like staying in hotels much anymore, honestly, at all, unless they're newer. I'm always OCD about cleanliness. Like, it really bugs me when I find hair in a towel, or the bathtub looks like it's never been scrubbed, or the floor is nasty, or it smells. So that's always my biggest thing. And even when I look at Airbnbs and
Hey,
VRBOs,
pause. You gotta wipe your nose.
shoot, sorry. Okay. When I'm looking at Airbnbs and VRBOs, I'm always looking at pictures of their bathrooms first, and then I look at the bedrooms. I know that sounds silly, but it's really proved to be effective for me. So worst hotel experience, I haven't had a bad one like bed bugs or anything like that, but I've had some pretty nasty hotel rooms where I'm like, I take that back. I was visiting somebody and they had allowed me to stay in this apartment kind of slash rental property. And I have to say, it was probably the most disgusting place I've ever stayed. It had not been cleaned, and you could visibly tell that there were like people. It was a person's dirt all over the bathroom. So I left that place middle of the night, and I had the kids with me, and went to a hotel down the street just so I wouldn't have to sleep there. So that was the worst one. But I've also had some really great ones too. So
This is
I
more
don't want
about
people
pet
to.
peeves. I mean, we're not
Yeah.
we're purposely talking about pet peeves. We're not just saying every time is a miserable
Yeah,
experience.
no,
And
I mean, this is definitely things that irritate me, but yeah,
yeah, so
what about you?
I had a rough experience in Memphis, of all places, by the airport. I
Really?
stayed in a hotel. My flight got canceled, so of course, they don't offer you a hotel, so I had to quickly scrounge and find a hotel close to the airport because they got me on a flight the next morning. Well,
Mhm.
I ended up not staying in this hotel. I actually slept at the airport because I
Ew,
got to
that's
the
bad.
room and there was roaches and
Oh,
other
gross.
insects. The carpet was torn and stained. The wall had like it literally looked like a crime scene.
That's
So that
so
they had just
nasty.
done a poor job cleaning up. So I've had a couple of those experiences where it's just you go with your gut, right? Like this just isn't going to work. I can't sleep in here. And you talked
Okay.
about it when we were in Orlando about the hazmat suit, right? Like sleeping
Oh,
in a
yes.
cocoon, nothing touches, your body doesn't touch
I
anything.
would
Cuz
love
literally
that.
I think we should invent the mattress wrap. So literally you sleep in a soft cushion because the
Uh-huh.
mattress in that hotel room last week, there was a spring. And I was like, gosh, I
Oh,
haven't felt the
yeah,
mattress
yeah.
spring poking me in the back, pause,
Uh-huh.
for quite some time. That mattress must have been like 25 years old. Like
Yeah,
legit. It was
it
super
was.
freaking old. So
It was
it was
yeah,
so bad. It was just so
it
bad.
was bad.
It was so bad. So,
So I have a question.
yes.
How has travel over the years, I'm talking like young, like when you were young, travel when you're young versus like going through the years, traveling for business and pleasure. How has it changed you or
It's
changed
definitely
your
me.
view of travel?
Of travel or humanity? It has definitely tainted my view of humanity. I feel there's not a lot of patience, politeness, grace. And we're all guilty of it, but no matter how pissed or annoyed I am, if I see somebody that needs help, I'm always going to try and help. So I feel like that's not a lot of people do that, especially
Mhm.
in the airport. I mean, we talked about this on an earlier episode when I would ride the train into Philadelphia every morning for work.
Oh, yeah, yep.
I'd see people that were either had a disability or pregnant and
Mhm.
no one would give up their seat. I was just like, gosh, where have we gone when it comes to just manners? So,
Yeah,
or someone elderly, right, that could use the seat. I mean, everyone is in such a rush. They have blinders on and they really don't want to be bothered, which I get. But on the flip side, it really doesn't take a lot to be polite. It really
yeah.
doesn't. And you
I'll
shouldn't
say
expect Go ahead.
no, go. You
No,
shouldn't
I'm done.
expect what?
I was just gonna say I was gonna say you shouldn't expect anything in return, but I kind of feel like a thank you, right? Like at least acknowledge that somebody did something nice.
Yeah. I remember being young. I didn't grow up where we were flying everywhere all the time. So I
Me
didn't
either.
really start flying until I was 18 for college. And I remember thinking how exciting it was. I had never been really anywhere. And, you get on the plane and you're not really thinking about all the stuff that we're talking about now. You're like, "Oh, this is so cool. I get to be on a plane. I'm going somewhere new, and as you continue doing it through the years. And I don't know if people feel the same. Do I enjoy going somewhere new? Yes. Do I enjoy the process to get there? No. And I wonder when people say they love to travel, Is it if you go a level deeper, is it you love going to new places to experience new things? Or is it you love the entire process, like from boarding the plane to getting there, you know? So I don't enjoy travel. I enjoy new places, but I really wish, and I have said this multiple times, I wish I had a transporter that I could
Yeah.
just push a button and then be there because gosh, it takes so long to get where you're going, and it's so stressful, and half the time you never know whether it's gonna be a good experience or a bad experience, and so, yeah, the older I've gotten, I'm like, I really don't like traveling, the process of traveling anymore.
Yeah, and you know me when I was, traveling as much as the anxiety that I would experience the day
Yeah, it
before
was really
travel was
bad for
just
you.
brutal, brutal because it's such a grind. It's such a
Yeah.
grind.
Yeah.
So, especially when there's issues and I've just it drives me nuts because they do very little to do anything about it. So,
Right.
especially when it impacts your livelihood, right? So, but some of the good experiences I've had traveling, I've had some good and bad. Like renting cars has been a mixed bag, but I usually have a decent experience, except for when they give you the car that's been smoked in for 20 years.
Yeah,
I'm just like, my
that's
goodness, you're not
happened.
supposed to smoke in these things. Or some guy put Vaseline all over the windows. Like how? Like who does this on the windshield? So you couldn't
That's
literally.
weird.
It was weird. So
That was weird.
and wrote a lovely love letter to whoever got the car next, which was me, which was a big F you. It was written in the any case. That was fun. So yeah, lots of interesting travels. I could go on and on and on. And we literally I just skimmed the surface. I have so many travel stories that I could do deep dives into, but we don't want to bore everybody too much
No, no.
with some of the travel stories. So I would love to know what are some of the listeners' pet peeves. I would love to know, kind of what are your travel quirks or travel irritants or travel wins.
Yeah.
I would love to hear how other people feel about current day travel. So
Before we wrap up, I
we're
have
not gonna
2.
we can keep going.
Oh, okay. I know, I just wanted I forgot, and then I remembered there were 2 things that I wanted to mention. So, have you ever lost something on a trip? And 2 memories came to mind with you and I, is that we were in Breckenridge, Colorado, and we went to dinner one night, and it's super dark out, and we parked on the street, and we came out from dinner, and this mind you, the main street is one street, okay?
Right.
You walk up and you walk down and you're done with that street. And we parked the car on the side of the street, just like everybody else, and we couldn't find the car. You and I both thought someone had stolen it.
Or we got
And
towed.
or it got towed, which didn't make any sense because everybody parks on the street there, and it took forever for us to find it. We just didn't walk down far enough. So that was one experience, and that was
Panicked.
just yeah.
Panicked. I could have been the devil's lettuce, but panicked or the altitude.
The second one was we went to the beach, and you had the
Oh,
rental car key in your pocket of your swimsuit shorts, and you
so
went in
we
the ocean
and lost the key.
and
So,
lost the key.
shout out to the rental company. So, I have to say that was one good experience because
Yeah.
literally I had no I had
Gosh.
no clue that I kept it in my pocket. I'm usually pretty good about this stuff.
Yeah, you are.
But for whatever reason, that day, I kept it in my and it was gone. It was in the
Yeah,
ocean
that thing
forever to
was
be lost.
gone.
So, the car's locked. We have, all of our stuff, and I
Yeah,
call the rental car company, and I'm like, "I lost the key. Can't find it." And literally, they sent somebody out and picked up
within
the
a couple of
car,
hours. Yeah.
but we didn't have to stay with it. They took the
No, because we were
location, and then they're like, "Hey, just come back out to, the closest rental place, and we'll get you into a new vehicle." And they did, and it was super they took care of it. Now, they
yeah,
also offered to drop a vehicle off, but it was gonna take too long, so I just chose to Uber out there. But
and
that was I
fortunately,
forgot about that.
we could walk back to our Airbnb, like, we weren't far, but because the beach was really close, but, oh my gosh, it was so funny, you looked at me and you were like, "Where's the" we got to the car and you were like, "Where's the key?"
I couldn't believe I did it. I was so upset with myself because 'cause I'm like, "Man, this
We
never
didn't we
happened."
were fine, but you were
I was
so
just hard on
upset.
myself because I was like, "Damn,
Yeah,
I never do this," but
I
it
know.
happened that day, and it was a
It
shame.
did.
It was a
Yeah.
shame.
But it didn't
God, if
ruin
I
the
blocked
trip.
that out of my brain.
I
No,
know.
it made for a good story.
It
It
did.
definitely made for a good story, so and that's the other thing too, travel tips, always talk to the locals to find out, like, good spots to eat. So,
Yeah,
always
yep.
struggle to find good places to go and eat because I get tired of I'm not a huge chain restaurant person, and we don't eat out
Mhm.
all that often, to be honest. We we cook at home, like, every night, but, when we do go out, I'd like to try new stuff, and as wonderful as Applebee's and all those places are, I prefer to go
We
to
try to avoid the tourist traps.
so, talk to the locals and find out where the good spots are.
Uh,
So, any case, well, I think we covered a lot of ground in this
we did,
topic.
we did. It's always it's not fun in the moment, but it always makes for funny stories.
And if you wanna hear more funny stories, let us know because I have a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. So, thank goodness I never had any issues with a plane engines blowing up and I've been on hundreds and hundreds of flights, but
Right.
lots of experiences with people on planes and
Yeah.
interactions, so and mechanical failures, which is always fun. So, yeah, that's been our this is our travel pet peeve version, and
Which
maybe
I'm
we'll
sure
do a
is
part
very
2.
relatable.
Yeah, yeah, we'd love to know what other people's pet peeves are when it comes to travel,
Yes.
and I guess we'll put this one in the books, and, we're just coming
Yes.
off of Podfest, so we got lots of things in the works. We're gonna start setting up on location. We'll tease that out. We'll do a little bit of a, preview or a promotion for when we set up here locally, and if any locals wanna come out and be a guest on the show, we'll let you know dates and
When
times
and
and where
where
we'll
we
be.
are.
So we're gonna go on the road. We're gonna take this show
Yes.
on the road.
Mobile.
That's right. Mobile well. We're gonna dig
Uh-huh.
a hole and fill it with the source of something greater wherever we plop down.
Land.
So, yeah, I tried to weave that all in together for a promo. It didn't quite
Yeah.
land. I didn't
It's
stick the
alright.
landing on that one. And, oh, the Olympics are coming up, so we can talk about that in a future
Oh
episode
yeah, I'm
too. I love the
excited.
Olympics, so
Me too.
I'm excited to watch especially the Winter Olympics. So
Yeah.
in any case, that's another episode in the book. Thanks for tuning in to The Well. I'm Drew.
And I'm Kat.
And make sure you like, subscribe, follow, engage with the content, and let us know any topics you want to talk about. So
Mhm.
we will see you for episode 16.
That's right. Peace out.
Bye. Peace out. Peace.